Here they go again. Okay. Okay. Now we're good. I know what happened. I realized. I was like, hold on, it is the wrong account.
How goes it? Yes!
What's going on?
Go girl. What is up? How are you?
Girl, a lot. Because this is going to be a heavy topic. I normally set up and I would have these blinds open, but I actually went outside today for the first time in so long. Train and I went to like a billion grocery stores, and I just got home like 40 minutes ago. So now we're good. That's better.
Beautiful.
This is going to be a topic. You guys are frozen. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Can you see?
Okay, you guys good?
Oh, okay, there we go. It's so beautiful outside.
It is beautiful outside.
Here's the thing about outside right now. When it gets nicer, there's going to be a lot of problems.
Girl, it's going to be hard to tell people to stay indoors.
It's already hard enough to stay in when the sun is out.
Right?
Let's not even talk about the temperature. Let's talk about the sun being out. We went out today and every single neighbor was outside in their garage.
Everyone was in their garage.
One of our neighbors, he's like a huge like motorcycle buff guy. He has like loads of different bikes. He had all his bikes out on the driveway displayed. I'm like
dying to ride. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see how they can.
It's gonna be interesting, which will go into a bit of our topic today. But it's gonna be interesting when people are able to run outside, because if you're looking at what like Georgia is doing, which by the way, can we take a moment of silence for Georgia?
Girl. I don't know what else to say about our neighbors south side. I don't know what else to say.
So this is the same governor who came out and said he didn't realize that you could be asymptomatic until 24 hours previously when this had been stated for like 6 weeks.
So where's he
been
for the past 2 months?
Has he been ignoring? Where has he been living under a rock or?
So he closed the country late, and now he's opening up his state. You know, he closed his state late, but he's opening his state earlier than anyone else. But we'll say a moment of silence once again for Georgia. Because they're expecting the spike to go up in the next couple of weeks, because they have not reached the threshold to even open up anything. But he's decided that barbershops and places where Black people frequent,
well, Vegas is also wanting to open up. They're like, yo, can we just open up these casinos now? And
what's wrong with people?
And the mayor is like,
okay, can we please talk about that mayor?
The responsibility of safety is not my problem. People need to figure it out.
And it was to the point where, was it Anderson that was interviewing her?
Oh,
and he was like,
hands to his face?
Yeah, he got a headache. He literally got a frustration headache from talking to this
Why
guy.
is America so strange? I don't get it. Is Trump like bleeding into everybody else's way of thinking? It must be. It must be.
It is incredible. I mean, you've got a president who's basically saying that maybe doctors should consider experimenting by injecting disinfectants into people, because of course if it works on surfaces, maybe the ultraviolet light and so forth. So it is an interesting time.
Don probably stayed up all night thinking about that. He was like, oh my God, I'm a genius.
Oh, you know
I figured out how to get rid of the Wuhan virus.
Great. And good for him. Good for him. And then since it's his idea, then he should lead the world and be the first one to try it. He needs to roll up his sleeve. Get them dogs to inject him with some of that Lysol. Inject the Pine Sol. Inject whatever you need. Drink it up. Booze up on that bleach. And let's all see what happens. He needs to be the first one.
No, if you're going to do that,
45. Bottom 45.
It is bonafide for him, like Bill Talk. You know what I'm saying? say. I just want to know. I don't know what else to say.
He needs to pay tribute.
I will.
So you should volunteer,
right?
Volunteer as tribute
to the COVID-19. Go ahead
and do it. Speaking of butting a fire for, now to our topic. What a relationship with China is going to be post-COVID. And I'm going to be more specific because our show is geared to our community. What is the Black community's relationship with China, and therefore Chinese businesses are going to be moving forward? Like, that's really the question that we want to ask. We want to talk, we'll talk, of course, about the world's relationship, because I think the world's relationship with China is going to be very interesting because of everything that's going to happen. And let's take it more specific with our relationship as consumers of from Chinese businesses.
Yes.
Because we spend, especially when we, as women and men, beauty supplies, we are the large, I don't have the numbers here, but we are the largest consumers. The beauty industry is Black women who actually make that beauty industry.
Yes. There's like a special on YouTube that we watched a few months ago. But yeah, they did talk about that. How I think it's like $4 to $7 billion.
$4.5 billion a year
that Black people
women
spend. Yes, specifically Black women
grow towards the beauty industry. And this was an industry that only started serving us like 2 years ago.
Yeah. It hasn't been a long time for us to get, especially now with natural hair products and things beyond wigs and weaves. And it's also funny to see who's selling these products.
Yeah. It's not us. It's not us.
We work in there.
We create the products, but we're not actually out here selling it to the consumer.
So let's get into that. We're going to start with the world's relationship. So I'm going to start with, back to our friend, our very good friend Donald.
Number 45.
Donald came out and said something that got everybody in an uproar. And I think we spoke about it in a previous show where he came out and he said, "I'm here to talk about the Chinese virus." And I'm gonna tell you, pretend I won't lie, I laugh. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care who's watching this and says that's offensive. I actually laugh.
I laugh too.
I thought, here he is, being Donald, saying exactly what is on most people's minds. Because the thing about Donald Trump is, love him or hate him, sometimes he says the things that most people are afraid to say.
Yeah, he's like a walking subconscious.
Yeah, he just tells
you know what you have in here, but don't say it. You know, his subconscious, it's like his conscious and his subconscious switched, and what he should be saying is back here, but the things he shouldn't be saying, that's out front.
Right there.
He has like no filter.
None.
He just calls it out. Well, the Chinese virus. And then, you know, his answer was kind of legit, because when people said, he said, well, it started in China, so. But then, I don't know.
So here's my.
So let's go there. Let's go for the fact that we are now in a situation, once again, because this is not the first time that a virus has come out of a specific place that can be traced to China.
True.
So this virus specifically, they're saying that it's being traced, and I'm going to put it on quotations because there's the other camp, right? So the first camp is saying that it came out of a wet market in Wuhan. Now we've got the second camp saying, it came out of China, but it came out of a lab in China and then was brought out, and that's how people got infected. But either way, came out of China.
Right.
Yeah, and so here's my thing. And I'm going to speak as, from the Black community. So when Donald, number 45, Don, when he came around and said, the China virus, the Wuhan virus, whatever, I looked to see what the response was from our community specifically. And I found that a lot of us were actually very sympathetic and said, yeah, you know what, man, clean up your language. Like, yeah, it's funny, but we shouldn't be naming this after a specific place, That's problematic. And, and the reason why we were saying that, yes, you should be sipping your tea. The reason why we said this in the Black community is because we know what it is like to be blamed for the world's problems. Now, because of the nature of who we are naturally, we were sympathetic to that community, to the Asian community, to say, man, all of these symbols and signals of racism towards them, that is, let's clean that up. That's not right, girl. But it didn't serve us in the end.
No. I was going to say something, though, I was on Shade Room because it's so damn funny. But the same thing, though, it was half and half, because a lot of my brethren were also saying, well, that's where it's from. A lot of them were actually agreeing with what he said. And there's, because, mind you, we're going to get into it later with the whole Asian versus, Black, that's coming up. But a lot of my people were saying, well, they deserve it. This is their fault. A lot of my people were saying, well, it's from China, so why not call it China? A lot of people were saying, well, it's about time that they get blamed because everyone's blaming, Africa for Ebola, all this stuff. It was it was a fight, because on the other side of it, a lot of people were saying, no, it's wrong. You shouldn't be saying this just because something does come from China. They shouldn't call it the Chinese virus or whatever. And so it was like a back and forth.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is that what I find when another minority group is struggling, the Black community is really quick to come and say, yo, we're here to support you.
That's true.
We know what it's like to feel this. We know what it's like to have phobias built against us. We understand Muslim community. We understand Asian community. We understand Jewish community. We're here for you. We support you. But at the end of the day, that did not serve us, because now we see what's happening in China with Blacks that live there. They're getting evicted. They're getting kicked out, being called the starters of the new coronavirus, the second string, the second wave. And it's all Black people's fault.
When that's so dry, I was like, okay, you take our hairstyles, you take our dance moves, you take everything that's Black, and then you in turn throw us out of your country.
Okay, I'm going to pause there for a second. Because, Chrissy, you touched on something that even goes to the heart of another topic we talked about, which was religion in our community. And, we rewind a few months back to Gene Bolton. I'm going to butcher his name again. But the gentleman who was shot in his own home by a woman who claims that she got into his house and thought it was her house, apparently, and right? And then she man is dead. And I'm young. And he was having some ice cream, if I recall correctly.
Was minding his own business.
Watching a movie, got in from work, he's tired.
Having some ice cream. Fast forward to the case now, and she's in court. And listen, I get forgiveness. All about it. The years of therapy, we all know, right? Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. But let me tell you something.
Girl.
Okay. I don't know, nor have I ever been in a situation where I have heard of a Black person killing a white person, the family standing up saying, I'm going to forgive you, the court officer patting down their hair, and the judge giving them a hug, and the family saying, please come hug me, even though you murdered my family member in cold blood as they sat in their own home eating ice cream after a long day at work. So, I get our community. I get our fact that because we have been through so much, but at some point, we have to recognize that ain't nobody doing that for us. So let's now fast forward to, yes, Trump being the president of the United States, good old Donald. There are things that he should and should not say. Now, whether or not he should have said the Chinese virus, we'll debate that later. But it came from China. Okay? So the entire world, for the most part, the entire world is on shutdown, lockdown, because of a virus that came out of a country that, again, this will not be the first and the last time that a virus comes out of China. I will leave that there. SARS came out of China, okay? There are movies made about viruses coming out of China in their wet markets because of some of the dirty things that are happening in those things.
Yeah,
so,
nothing but that.
Called it the Chinese virus. As Black people, we said yes, no, sure, right, wrong, whatever. At what point do we just say, if you're not looking out for me, sorry, boo-boo, I'm not looking out for you? Because now you've got China in Guangzhou, okay? Guangzhou is kicking out Africans and any Black people, kicking them out of the apartments that they've rented, hotels that they're paying for, will not let them into restaurants, trying to ban them from McDonald's to the point McDonald's had to put out a statement. These people are in the streets with their luggage, not being allowed. Now it's a gentleman out of in Georgia and the gentleman in Nigeria, I believe, is trying to get them out of Guangzhou, okay? Because now China is claiming that the second wave of the virus is going to come from Africans who are already in your country?
That part. That part.
The thing is, and the thing is we... Okay. So I'm going to start from the relationship we had with China as a global, what we had with China before this whole thing. And this is the problem. We've seen it. Time magazine had a cover with the American eagle being held down on the ground and being beaten in the face with a koala bear.
Yep.
Symbolizing
that China is taking over the world.
Right? Taking down America, throwing them on the ground. This is a Time magazine interpretation. I didn't interpret this. That's Time magazine. You can go look it up. But the whole thing is that we have already given China this throne where it's like, China, you rule the world now because all the cheap consumerism comes from you, and whoever owns that dollar owns the world. So we gave them this leadership role, and I feel that they've just said, yeah, we do own everything, so now we can do whatever we want, and don't you dare question us, and don't you dare come for us, even though it's our fault. So I think that, and in a way, I do feel for the everyday, Asian person that technically has nothing to do with this. They were born in Canada, they were raised in Canada, they don't have issues with, our community. But because of the stigma of what is happening with China right now, it is shedding a light on these, the
inherent racism that is, let's just call it what it is. Yeah. There is inherent racism within Asian race towards Black people.
Right. Sure.
It is. This is not new.
No.
It is what it is. Right. And I'm not going to say specific to China. I'm going to say Asia.
I would say, I mean, there has definitely been this thing where it's like, you want my money, but you would never want to hang out with me. You would never want to go have a 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute coffee with me.
You just want my money.
You want my money, though.
And is it okay? And I'm going to hold that thought. So, knowing this, if we still choose to take our Black dollar and recycle it in their community, that's a us problem.
Yes,
right?
It is.
Because there was a study done, and I don't remember the name of the study because it was years ago, and it talked about basically money within communities. And it was how many times does money go through an entire community before leaving the community. So I believe the Jewish community was 7, and it's somewhere that the Asian community I think was also 7 in the South Asian community. Our community, one time, you give me money and I go back and I give it and put it into another community.
While
other communities are recycling their money and and making a point
They're
that
investing.
I take it from this market to take it to this store.
And we're not.
So there's a deep, and this could be a totally other show, but, we are known, and, I could go as far back and say that this is something that's built within our DNA, because first of all, there's a lot of self-hate within our community. A lot of Black people don't actually like being Black. And that's
like Black
question
people.
That's, point number one. And because they don't love themselves, they don't love their community, and they find everything to say wrong about our community. And they're like, oh, why should I buy clothes from, Sandra's Designs when I could go to Dolce & Gabbana? And it's like, well, Dolce & Gabbana is highly racist.
They haven't seen their latest shows.
They don't like you.
And
Sandra's Designs does like you, and she is going to be there to serve you whenever you need to be served, and she's going to become your best friend because she likes you.
Because it's more than just money, and that's the thing with our community
at that point.
Thank you.
But the problem is that
thank you.
It is known in our culture that we don't really honor. Now we're beginning to, I think, and this thing that's happened with China and coronavirus, we're learning more and more now that people are like, wait, who owns this company? Should I be supporting them? Is my money going to a good place? But before, we weren't asking that. We were asking who's got the sale. And
a lot of us still do.
And a lot of us that still do. I mean, for me, I've made the decision. It's like, I'm not going to buy hair products from these certain brands anymore.
No, I can't.
Because they don't support us.
Especially with what they said about our people. How, we're going to go into their country and impregnate their women.
Give their people HIV.
We're the ones that are going to bring AIDS to them. It's like, what? Like...
And that's my issue. So as Black people within our community, we have to start to become a bit more resourceful in finding out who owns this company. Let me go to their social media page. I made it perfectly known. I went and did a panel on behalf of her Castle Girls. And on the panel, they said, what's the first thing you do as a Black woman? What do you do to make sure you're working with brands that align with you? And I said, first thing I do is I hit up all their social media.
Yep.
If I go on their social media and I don't see some Black girls that look like me, if I don't see some, women that aren't supermodels, if I don't see women of different sizes, different ages, different hair, like if I don't see me there, then I'm like, thank you, but no thank you.
That's it.
But how many of us are going to do that? Because and you guys know me for years, I make a very conscious decision about buying Black.
Yeah.
And very conscious. Even when we go to dinners, I'm like, guys, let's find a new Black restaurant that we can go to, so we can patronize it, put it on our social media, etc. Like, I make a conscious decision. Do I always buy Black? No, because sometimes it's just not there.
It's not
there.
Find it.
Or we can even say sometimes it's not as convenient because you might have to drive, 30, 40 minutes from your home, because the reality is we are just not that integrated system. But I make an actual conscious effort to buy Black.
Do it, yeah.
When I was in management, I made a conscious effort to hire Black, right? Sometimes that bit me in the what, but I actually made a very conscious effort. I have to, even like supporting people like the Kardashians. I don't necessarily do that because, again, you like the Black part, but how much are you investing? I respect Kim because she does do a lot when it comes to, because she's got 4 Black kids. So she does, consciously you see that Kim is putting herself out there. So Kim I might support. But who's the other one? The other one with lipstick, Kylie.
Oh, Kylie.
I wouldn't necessarily go into if I had to go and buy Fenty or something else. Something else was $35 and Fenty's $42. I'm gonna spend $42.
Yeah, I'm gonna support Rihanna
because I understand that Rihanna is likely consciously hiring Black people in her company, so therefore they are representative of me, and so I consciously make that decision. But there was something on our Instagram that we put up, I think it was yesterday, talking about let's support Black businesses without asking for a discount. So talk about that.
So
Girl.
this is the problem, and this is why China. This is why China has this.
We're brethren. We're brothers and sisters.
Because China knows that we'll just sell cheap, and that will steal the loyalty that blacks have. That
everyone
should have with a brand, or anyone has with a brand. Let's say someone always used to buy Johnson & Johnson, but then another brand comes out and they're selling it 10% cheaper. People will be quick to get up and leave Johnson & Johnson. So what I have to say is that as far as black business, we need to support it, and support it in the way that John Smith, the white guy, that lives across the street would. He would not ask for a discount.
No.
He will say, how much is it? And I would say $10, and he will give me $10 and be on his way.
Like, why is it? That's,
but, Jamal comes over, Jamal Campbell comes, and he's like, wow, this is sick. And I'm like, awesome. It's $10.
Oh. We're brethren, though. Can I get like a 10% discount?
What's
the family and friends?
50% off.
Family and friends discount?
Yeah. Now, would you have said that if my name was Brittany and I had blonde hair and blue eyes? Would you have said that?
No.
Jamal, no, you wouldn't have.
No.
So that we can't do that. We have to start treating each other with respect, and
stop using this whole "we're brethren." Okay, because we're brethren, then you shouldn't even be questioning my price. Just pay me.
And this
because
is why,
we're brethren,
this
you
is
want
why,
to support our community.
Yeah, this is why China does what they do to the black community, because they know they can trick us in this sense by using that rhetoric of, oh, we're cheaper. If I go to...
And which means cheaper quality.
Right.
Yes. And that's what people are not
and
recognizing.
if it broke,
cheaper quality.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I want quality. Listen, I know that often you don't necessarily, there are times where you don't have a choice. I get it that we are maybe speaking from a place of privilege, and I'm going to recognize that.
Right.
There's a place of privilege that I can come from and say that I'm consciously going to, even if it's $3 more, support a business that I know invests back into my community. I will say that is coming from a place of privilege, but the reality is, until we all decide to do that, we will never all have the privilege that we all deserve to have, so we can say that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's it.
That's the thing. We know we have power. And I know this because
we have buying power specifically.
Yes, Beyonce dropped her collaboration with Adidas. It sold out in 90 minutes. The entire collection
sold out
in 90 minutes. Adidas has never done that before.
No.
With any collaboration.
Eat that,
but
Kanye.
Beyonce was able to do it.
That's it.
And you even bring up names like Kanye and other
Rihanna
rappers
with Puma.
and the athleisure industry is making a killing off having black collaboration.
Nike will collaborate with LeBron James. Anything he puts out, sold.
So we know we have buying power. That's proven it. Fenty's numbers have proven that, yes, we have money. We have money to spend. We also have the choice to choose where we spend it. And the issue is that we are not being aware of what's going on now on Facebook. A lot of us are members of the black community, Facebook, where other groups and stuff that are meant to be here to show us, hey, I have a new baby. I want to buy some baby clothes. Who knows a business owner that is black that I can buy from? You can ask these questions. Social media is here to save us all.
That's it.
It's true. And then even I know also, coming from privilege, we can sit on our high horse and talk about, you can go to whatever, Etobicoke, and go to this specific little niche place and buy this thing. But it's like, okay, maybe you can't do that. But, okay, your girlfriend's birthday's coming up and you always buy her a cake. Why don't you get it from a black baker?
Thank you.
Georgie Porgy, by the way. Check her out on Instagram.
Yes.
However, but
her.
Yes. But you know, it doesn't have to be everything, everyday stuff. You know, you'll still need to go to Shoppers. You'll still need to go to Walmart.
Metro and all those places.
However, there are some things. You need a new pair of earrings. You need a new dress. You need some new shirts, guys. Why can't we resource Black-owned companies?
Agreed.
And we need to.
We need
and that,
we'll
you know,
never have
because
power until we do.
Thank you.
Power until we do.
This is how you wield your power. How you spend your money is very powerful.
Girl.
Because the dollar is very powerful. And so therefore, you know, even if you think you have no power, the moment you've got some money in your pocket that you are going to spend, that is power. It's called, again, buying power. So with your buying power, you can choose whom to spend your money with and whom not to spend your money with. And I'm just, you know, I look at the situation and I say, why spend my money with someone who would not spit on me if I was on fire in the street? No, seriously, like, this is what we need to really consider. You work hard. I know we all work hard for our money. And I'm going to go and make a purchase somewhere when the reality is this person isn't even taking a little bit of that money and reinvesting it into my community so my community can build, because they shouldn't have to. Because they're a community. They're going to take their money and they're going to invest it in their community. This is why their money is recycling through their community 7 times and ours doing 1. So it's up to me with my buying power to say, I am making a conscious decision that I am going to spend higher, buy, sell, whatever, Black.
That's it.
And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with making conscious decisions. I want to build my community, and therefore the biggest way to do that and the fastest way to do that is to use my buying power and let it stay within my community so that we can build and we can have the things that the other communities have. So guess what? You won't have to drive 35 minutes. In 5 years, maybe you can walk 10 minutes down the street because we are
exactly. Because he made those investments.
I mean, exactly so. The same way how, like, you know, you look at Walmart as an example. When Walmart first started, it was a small little shop down the street somewhere in Milwaukee, for all I know.
Same with Starbucks. It was a little kana store.
Exactly. But look at these companies now. Why can't the Black community have the same thing? We need to do the same thing.
Well, the Black community can do the same things, and we can have the same things because we've proven it.
It's dry. I even catch myself sometimes. Like, I forget who I was talking to, but we were talking about West Indian stores, and I think we were saying how it'd be cool to, like, you know, it's always cool when you see someone opening one, but they close down so quickly. And then we came to the conclusion, we're like, well, have you ever seen someone really successful with a West Indian store? And sadly, no, because the customers just keep on going to other places to buy their food, especially now that Metro and other places are starting to sell.
Let me tell you who has West Indian products, okay? Yeah. The Asian supermarket does.
Yeah, the
Asian does. Chinese does. They have yam, banana, dashin, mango.
Products.
Everything you can imagine, they put it in the Asian market. I'm telling you.
We go to Nations, or I think it's one of them's called Nations, or wherever it's called, or Highland Farm. But anyway, we go to there and then leave our little West Indian store to close down.
And the thing is that West Indian store, they're the ones where you could have called them, because my mom does this with
all the time. Yeah.
She will call them and say, you know, I'm in a rush. Can you set aside some banana, some plantain, some cow foot? You know, I'm making soup. Can you set these things aside? And they will set it aside in a bag for her. Put it to the side. All she does is when she goes in, she taps her card, takes her bag, and gone. Would she have been able to do that with, you know, my specialty China grocery mart?
Because they're like, oh, no, you come now, whatever they say. And it's just like, well, you know, that respect is not there.
Right.
No one's going to put food aside for you if you go to those bigger corporations. No way. No, it's not.
And that's that. And this is that part, right?
Experience.
You have to recognize that there is a certain value. Here's the thing about, again, I don't care if you've got $10 or $10,000. The fact of the matter is, if a product is $10, you got the $10, you got buying power.
Yeah.
Because that product that you're buying for $10 probably actually costs the person $2.50, so there's that $7.50 profit. So at that moment, you have buying power.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, whether you are the person in subsidized housing or living in bridal path, you have buying power.
Yes.
You make a very conscious decision. And to me, when you look at how a country is very clearly, they're not hiding this.
No.
This wasn't something that was hidden. It's out. It's all out there.
Everyone
it's
knows.
Very clear that China is saying we have no respect for blacks.
Yep.
Simple. But there's no reading between the lines. There's no, they're insinuating it. There are signs in stores that specifically say, if you are a black person, you stay out of here. We will not serve you.
Yep.
They won't even respect the buying power because they threw people out of homes and hotels.
Yeah.
These are people who are not paying. They weren't evicting people. These are people who weren't evicting people for down payment.
Yeah, they're illegally kicking them out of their
houses. Because they're black.
So even with the buying power that many of these, because a lot of the reality is, if you're going to leave Africa and go to a place like China, you've got buying power because generally you're opening up a manufacturing.
Right.
Because a lot of these people are business owners. They're not sitting on the crux of the corner of the street.
Right.
These are a lot of business owners who go into China to open factories and so forth for their businesses back home in their countries. Because people want to think Africa doesn't have money. There's wealth in Africa. There's plenty of wealth in so much wealth in Africa. So now you're looking at a country that says, even with your buying power, we don't want you here.
They're the ones there.
This is weird. Let's sit on that for a second.
I know, right?
Because it's one thing when it's like, okay, I don't have a lot of buying power, so I may not feel like I have a lot of power. But these are people with buying power. You have a sign up at a McDonald's. You have a sign up at a restaurant. You have a sign up at a hotel where people are wanting to give you money. And that country, that little province, in China, saying, we don't even want your money because you belong to a race that we think is going to bring a virus that's already in our country that we started.
That they started, but they're putting us on the blame rack for it. Although we didn't. We're not the ones that have the wet markets.
This is the thing. And I mean, this is why, for me,
we're not the ones with the bad suit.
This is what I say. Okay, well, if that's how you feel, that's great. But can I take back the culture that you've been appropriating?
Yeah, okay. Give back the black culture. That's right.
She's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I said in the beginning. I said that in the beginning, did I not?
Please
give back our hair. Culture, give back our dance moves. Give back our makeup. Give back every single damn thing that black people have graciously kind of sort of let you borrow. That's all it is. What would this be like? Like with black people?
Well, that's another show. But
this would be so dry without us. Let's just be real right now.
Basically, what I'm saying is that what we need to do, as you know, we've voiced so well so far, is that it's time for us to look. When you go into your beauty store, ladies, when you walk in, is it a bunch of, black girls on the floor saying, how can I help you, with two Asian men at the cash register because they don't...
Who will not let them go anywhere near the cash register?
How dare a black person deal with money? So you stay out there and do the hard work while we stay here and check people out to make sure you're not giving people discounts.
And they're not stealing.
You stand here and take care because we don't know anything about wigs.
No.
We don't actually know anything about...
They don't know anything about our culture or our makeup.
Let's hire minimum wage workers to, do the real work, and we will collect the money and own the store.
Listen.
If you are walking into a beauty store that looks like that, I am inquiring for you today to, consider not doing that anymore. Stop shopping there.
Yep.
That's number one.
It's funny too. Side story. I'm not gonna say the name of those, but you guys already know. There's like two stores that are set up like that in Canada anyway. So it's one of the two. But I was in there with you. This is before this whole thing came out. So this is like a few years ago. But it's one that we used to frequent a lot. And while I was in there getting some hair supplies, one of the girls that was helping me, she turned around, I guess she was going on her break. And the manager, who was an Asian man, came up to her and she said to him, "I'm going on break." And he's like, "Oh, no, you're not." And she's like, "I'm going on my break." And the two of them caught up a fight.
That sounds like
BSW. Talking to her.
That sounds like beauty supply warehouse. But I won't call names. So was it that girl?
You know. I just, but the thing is, too, the way he was talking to her, it was just kind of like almost degrading. I was like, okay, dude, she's not slavery ended a few years ago. Why are you talking to her as if she's still picking cotton? And she's like, clearly upset. He doesn't care how she feels, although she's entitled to her break. And he's trying to find everything from the sky, trying to tell her, "Oh, well, you can't go right now because da-da-da." No, mind you, there's like 6 girls already in there, so she could have happily taken her break. And all of them are just there, just kind of looking at this man who's clearly an Asian massa.
So basic human decency is not even being respected, right?
No.
And again, here we are, and again, buying power. And Carson, you said it right. They don't know about our hair. They don't know about our products. They don't know what work and doesn't work. So they hire people who look like us to put them on the floor to try to serve us and help so that they can go ahead and pay them 14 or 15, or depending on what it is in your country, in your state, in your province, pay them, and then they leave with all of the profit.
Yep.
And again, if we are spending, what was it, $5 billion we said in the beginning of the show, as Black women are buying power, it's in the billions of dollars in the beauty industry, we need to take it somewhere
else.
Agreed.
Somewhere else.
Agreed.
Like, even if it means buying things online, go online. There are so many Black-owned beauty supply stores online.
Yeah.
Go there. Give them your money.
Even this one product I love using, and although they're sold in the States,
yes.
We have a friend that lives in the States, and she's already agreed with me that I can purchase it, mail, and then have it mailed to her house, and then she can mail it to me, like until they start shipping things.
Is it the new product that's in Target right now? The lady that put the product in Target?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about, because we talked about the reality of us rallying behind everybody else and, oh, don't be xenophobic, don't be this, don't be that, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Here's a woman who worked hard. I don't even know her backstory, but we Black and we women, and we know how hard it is to make it as being Black and being a woman, right?
Girl,
so I'm going to say that woman worked hella hard to get her product to be recognized so that it goes into Target, specifically for Black women natural hair.
Yes.
Okay? The flack that woman got after her Target commercial was aired, where she got a lot of flack because how dare she make products for Black women only. I'm sorry. Viva Salon, her Essence, whether I don't know what these products are named. They're for white people.
Isn't that dry? Like, they can have products meant for white people. But when it comes to our hair, is clearly a different texture. So of course we need products that are for our hair. How dare she make something for nappy hair?
So here's the issue. The issue is, first of all, education. I feel that it is high time for people to stop living in their little box where they're like, everybody's just like me. What do you mean that person isn't? Like me. Everyone is like me. It's like,
take a hint.
Not everyone is like you. Other people have other needs other than yours. Now, when we were, for years, for most of my childhood into adulthood, when I would watch commercials based on beauty products, I didn't even see anyone that even looked like me. I didn't even see
white person.
I didn't even see multiracial people.
Not even a tan white person.
Always women that looked like they were of a, European, Norwegian background. Always. And I sat through that for years and years into my adulthood. And no one got up and said, hey, everybody, this product is outrageous for white people. This is wrong. No one stood up and said that.
No.
Now, we show a commercial where it's like, listen, our hair is unique.
Very.
It is. It is.
Our hair is
the three of us here, we're big hair lovers. We know hair. I know European hair. I know black hair. I know Asian hair. And all three of these Indian hair, they're all different.
They're all different. And they all have different cares that you need to
and different identities. And then they all need to be cared for in different ways. So if a product is out there that is meant for my hair texture, and there is a commercial, and this woman was able to get a deal with the Walmart or with whomever, Target. There are many companies like L'Oreal has, picked up, a black woman's brand because they realized they didn't have products that serve right. So they're doing the right thing. They're making the right moves. Now, why all of a sudden is it all bad now for us to have a product
we have products geared towards us?
That gears towards our hair.
What's wrong with that?
So what?
Because they don't care about black people.
We didn't say anything bad about their shoulders. I mean, what did they want?
Like, so what?
That's what.
This is what I'm saying. When we go back to what we originally talked about, but this idea of our community having to come to the rescue all the time. There's always that, well, black people, you need to side with us because you understand. Well, now, at some point, just be like, we got over here.
Yeah, we're good.
No, we have enough.
You guys,
we have enough. We don't need your issue and ours.
Right. There's this whole thing where it's like, people will ask me, well, Curcia, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?
Figure it out.
And then I'm like, you know what? That's white people business.
Yeah.
They're like, really?
And now we
that's all I got to say about it. I'm like, it has absolutely nothing to do with me or my culture. So
no. They gotta figure it out. And that's it.
Because we have a lot to deal with.
That's it.
Do you understand?
Girl, it's true. And you know what? You're right, too. Like, because our race is so quick to forgive and we always run to the rescue, we really do finally need to say, you know what? Every other race, figure it out. Because we have solved enough problems for y'all, and we still have our own problems to figure out. We need to figure out our own problem before we can help other people. They need to fix their own backyards, but we fix ours.
The reason why people think that...
We're always so quick to go jump to other people's rescue except for our own.
The reason why other groups and
figure out their own
think that we are okay is because black people have an amazing talent. And the amazing talent is that we take negative things and turn them positive.
Absolutely.
We take problems and we make them into testimonies of greatness. So everyone's like, oh, it doesn't matter how many times the, 45 makes us, talks bad about us. It doesn't matter how much displays of racism are showing up all over the world. Black people are good because we see them over there with Dave Chappelle. They're laughing. So that means everything is good. But it's like, no, everything is not good. But we deal with our problems in a way where we're like, you know what? This sucks, but we're still great. Yeah, we're being money's being taken away from us, but we're still great.
How are we great? We're broke.
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying,
and that's what I'm saying to my people,
right? Like, no matter what, we try to rise above, and to the outside world, outside of our community, they're like, oh, well, everything must be good. They got Beyonce, so it's all good.
Oh God, and Beyonce's gonna come into our rescue. That's what other races feel. They see that and think that we're good.
So when we look at a commercial where we see black women's hair being represented and everything, and we take pride in it, we're like, wow, this is great. We grew up in the 80s when, like Grace Jones was the only dark-skinned black woman that
she was
she was on her own, right? And then Naomi Campbell show up in the 90s, and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
A dark-skinned black woman.
And it took forever to get there. And even when we got there, they always spoke about how they were treated in their industries because of their skin tone. And then now finally we're starting to see us represented in everyday commercials, and people who live in their box are like, oh, but wait, why are we calling attention to one specific community? Because they don't, over the head, it just goes whoosh right over. They don't know.
And what do we keep doing? Making excuses for why people should treat us badly.
Yep.
No, we can no longer make excuses as to why. I go back to something else. We got 10 minutes. I go back to something else. There was 2 incidents I was actually thinking about as we were preparing for the show. One was with Tory Lanez when he was in. Was it Holt Renfrew? He went to go shopping.
Oh, I think it was. Yes, I think it was Holt Renfrew. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
And it happened to Oprah too when she was in some Eastern European country.
Yeah, in Paris.
Something, right? Mm-hmm. Here's my thing about this, and this is the issue that I had with Tory Lanez, and I have not looked at him the same since then. Okay, you go into a store where they basically say, based on the color of your skin, because we go through this all the time. I know we've been into holes and they looked at us sideways. I remember going ring shopping with my girlfriend before she got married, and we went into Tiffany's and we got the sideways looks. Like I've been there, done that. Can write the book about it, right?
They're all pretty.
So you go into a store. And basically they're saying to you, just based on the color of your skin, that you do not belong here.
Yep.
Okay? And they make it very plainly obvious that they don't want your kind in their store. And so to prove them wrong, you decide to go drop a bag, buying money, buying all of the stuff in the store, and taking your black dollar and going and finding a black store where you could have taken all of those thousands of dollars that you just took to show some white man that you were deserving of being somewhere they didn't want you to be in the first place. Drop smile.
Well, and this is, so again, you know what, it's funny, no matter what we talk about, I can always bring it back to it being
want
our
to
fault.
impress the white man.
So our problem is that we're giving too much power
to the white man,
black people, to designer labels. You don't need to wear a full suit of Louis Vuitton to prove to me that you're successful.
That looks ridiculous.
And the problem is that more than any other race, we really, really love those labels. We love the labels,
love the Gucci,
and we love to make it look like we are good because we are head to toe Gucci. Now, the thing is that I remember once watching a thing with Kanye West, and this is why Kanye, yeah, he has problems, but he's actually probably smarter than a lot of people out there. Here's how.
Yes.
Now, he went on a show like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, and in the audience they had this black man who had won like $100 million. He won the lottery. He won the lottery, like Powerball. Mm-hmm. So he was sitting in the front row, and he was decked in Gucci, literally had a hat, two-toe in Gucci. So Kanye came out, and Kanye was like, before
tell me what Kanye was wearing. Tell them what Kanye was wearing.
So Kanye was wearing a hoodie, jeans, and sneakers, and he came out. He was there with Sunday service. So this was very recent.
Oh yeah,
yes.
So he was there, and he's like, Jimmy, hold on. Before we continue, I just got to say something. He's like, I got to say it. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, so everyone starts laughing because you remember the whole Taylor Swift and him. He couldn't hold it in. He had to say something. Mm-hmm. So he was like, I just want to say something to my brother here. I'm like, congratulations on your win, man. That's great. And the man's like, thank you. And he's like, but I'm going to give you some advice, man. He's like, you see what you're wearing? He's head to toe Gucci. And then he's like, let me tell you something. He's like, I'm wearing a Walmart hoodie, man. He's like, and I've been blessed to have a lot of money. He's like, but that brand you're wearing, they're never going to serve you.
No.
They don't serve you. He's like, I can go out and buy all that, but I choose to come on Jimmy Kimmel's show in a Walmart hoodie and, some old Levi jeans. He's like, the most expensive thing I'm wearing is sneakers that I made. These are my sneakers.
Adidas the collaboration.
It's like, these are my sneakers.
They're Yeezys.
He's like, this is the most expensive thing, and these aren't that expensive. He's like, when you look at what you're wearing, your shirt right there is 3 times more than my shoes. And I said to Tully, I was like, see, this is the demise of Black people. We can't get away from these damn labels that every day we're hearing about how they're racist.
Every day it gets brighter and brighter. And it's dry because we were in slavery, we have this mentality where we have to impress, or
it's a mindset.
Oh, look at me, I have money now, so I'm going to buy all these white products.
We're looking
well, we need to stop it.
Yeah, we're looking for validation.
No, I have never bought a Gucci, Fendi product, none of it, and I never will. I've even said to partners who are like, don't you ever dare buy me any of that stuff. I don't want anything, because if they buy it for me, I would return it to the store and get the money and go put it somewhere else. I do not want anyone investing money who wants to invest into me, into companies that I know do not represent me. They do not care about the causes about me. They wouldn't care if our sons are getting shot in the street, our daughters are being raped in the street, all the education system, disproportionately Black people are dying because of COVID-19 and all of these things. They don't care. So why would I want to be adorned in products for a company who does not care about me? And this, and I'm conscious we got 5 minutes left. These are the conversations that really should be happening in homes today. Because there's light being shed on organizations who do not care about Black people and Black causes.
Yep.
And therefore, why would you take your power, which is your buying power, and keep investing in people who would never invest into you?
Exactly.
Girl.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about the reality is, if I know that I can't go to HSBC Bank with my thing to go say to them, listen, I want to start a business and I want to do that and I need you to invest in me. They don't care about
This is why we need more Black VCs. We need more Black angel investors. We need more. And the only way they're going to come out is if us support them in whatever business they're doing. I would love one day to be able to be rich enough and be the Mark Cuban of the Black female community and say, well, I'm going to buy a sports.
And we can do that.
We can.
Because if we collectively come together and we act as a community and not individuals, and get conscious of the time, when we even talk about the things that we do and we collaborate on, we could individually do our things. We choose to do things together. Because my motto is, and it's the last thing I'm going to say because this is just a sensitive topic for me, I always say, listen, I would rather get 50% of something than 100% of nothing.
That's it, girl.
So do you collaborate and come together and pool resources so that you can get further, or do you try to do something on your own knowing that you just cannot do it by yourself? So this is the mentality we need to get out of, is that it is so much better for us to be able to collaborate, to do things, to get to the next level, than thinking that we're going to go do that because that's what the other communities are doing. And that's why we're taking our money, having to invest into them, and they're not consciously saying that they're going to invest into our community.
No, they're
absolutely not.
They don't.
They're not. They don't care less about us. They don't care about us.
Like Kanye when he went on national TV and said, George Bush don't care about Black people. Let's be talking about. There are a lot of businesses in a lot of countries and a lot of places and a lot of people that do not care about us. So we better start caring about ourselves and ensuring that we are consciously doing things to advance our community, because we have to think as a collective and not as individuals. So that's the last thing I'm going to say, because the conscious of the time. Let's do our takeaways.
There's so much to take away, though, girl.
So my takeaway is this: I am going to become very, 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 cautious of who I buy from. I am not just going to throw money
30 seconds.
At the price tag. I am going to buy consciously.
Girl, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, there's so much takeaways from this, but and just to continue, to support your Black community and become a cheerleader for your community. I love what we do. When we find cool Black brands, we say, hey, everyone, check out this brand. They sell skincare. They do have great food. Order your foods from them. Be my...
Okay, I went back live because, of course, we didn't get to finish what we were saying. So I'm hoping my ladies will join me. Here they are again, because Instagram does not want us to be great, and so we now have to do what we're doing. So I want Kelly to finish what her takeaway is, and then we can go from there. So here we are, doing what we need to do.
Oh, stupid Instagram.
Instagram does not want us to be great, okay? That thing was just counting down.
It just happened out. All I was trying to say was I was going to be my black people's cheerleader. All I was trying to say was I'm going to be my black community's cheerleader and continue to support stupid Instagram.
Does not want us to be great. Like, they just want Teddy and Babyface to be great, but that's another story.
That should be another show. That needs a full hour if we were going to talk about that.
Okay. They do not want us to be great. And here's my takeaway is we have power. We have power, and every dollar we spend makes us powerful. Whether it is $10, like I said, or $10,000, you have buying power, and you need to wield that power responsibly. Because at the end of the day, you should not invest in people who you know fundamentally would not reinvest that money into you and the things that you want to do. Now, I'm not saying that all companies that are not black-owned or whatever are not good. Take a look, like Garcia said earlier, consciously look at what they promote on their social medias, in their write-up, in the things that they do, because their marketing will speak in a voice that they speak in the boardrooms. So if marketing is speaking in a voice that's inclusive, then that's an inclusive company. But if all you see are people who don't represent you, don't look like you, nothing of the sort, this company is not reinvesting money into things that are happening, then you probably shouldn't put your money.
True. Exactly. That's it. That's exactly it.
I don't know. Like, it's such a, like I said, this is such a, if we were on Facebook, this topic could have gone on forever. But again, it's going to be great. But the reality is, we really need to make very conscious decisions about how we wield our power. Because I keep saying the word power because we have it. We have power with the dollars that we spend and the decisions that we make about how to spend that dollar is power, and we need to make very, very conscious decisions about how we spend. So that would be my takeaway. And of course, we have another show next week, and we'll see what else is going on in the world. We'll see what else Donald Trump tells people to do next week. And
honestly, I don't like.
He is such a mess.
I would love to understand what. Man. I know the Constitution over there is very important and everything, but if he's done even half, like if Justin Trudeau did even half of what he's done, we would have fired him. He would have been fired. He would not be prime minister right now. He would not.
How this man is still able
I don't understand how he
to
gets away
sit
with
as a president is so far beyond me.
He is holding America by the balls.
And it's like, dude, what do you have? What kind of things do you have on the country?
Who do y'all work on?
Yeah, who do you pray to? What kind of state?
Yeah, what kind of phobia do you have on America that you can go like? It's like, again, so much stuff going on. Whatever we decide to talk about next week, I'm sure it will be amazing, because there is honestly, I turn on the news after this, and I'm sure there'll be like 10 topics that we can do that I'll find in an hour. So we are here to rule the world.
Yes, we
are. To rule the world. We are alone together. We might be apart, but we're still doing it. So alone together, because we are going to rule the world.
This chair's gonna be popping when we're out of this quarantine, and they give us the AO outside. Girl!
I'm gonna be popping and laughing. Listen, I can't wait to be together instead of alone together. Okay? So everybody, see you next week. Send in topics, send in suggestions. We want to hear it. We cannot wait to be shooting live on different locations, because we are over.
Coming back. Those days.
We will be back soon. We will be back soon. So goodbye. Good day. So long, farewell. We'll see you again. Bye.